welcome to another episode of the podcast. On this episode, I'm honored to be joined by the lovely Danny Kamikaze, also known by her hardcore alias as Mistortion. How you going, Danny? How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. It's just begun, really. How about you?
Yeah, a pretty chill week for myself. Not too much happening. Hey, we still got the pandemic situation, so Australia is still dry on events, and we're still surviving on live streams, aren't we?
Pretty much. So hopefully that'll change soon, but I don't know.
We got to make do with what we got. Hey, everyone's moving to Twitch, everyone's moving to Facebook and whatnot. Yeah, have you done any streams yourself recently, or?
Yeah, I've done a few. So I've done one for Mysterious World, Massive, and I have one coming up for Hardstyle Indonesia.
That's right. I saw you on the Massive one. That was a great stream.
Yeah, no, the guys do a really good job. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I was quite impressed by the light show too, and it looked like you guys had a bit of fun there on stage, and MCD was there to keep the energy up.
It was so good. I just didn't know that there was multiple cameras, and so I realized halfway through there was a camera next to me. I was a bit like, oh my god. It's like, oh, hopefully didn't look too bad. I'm a bit cringe to watch it, so yeah.
We all, I guess, get a bit awkward looking at ourselves, hey?
I find it a little strange that you're dancing and going crazy and there's no one there. And
yeah, that's it. Woo! Totally agree.
Yeah, it's good.
So on with the show. I want to start off with your origin story, of course. So I would like to know, when did music come into your personal life? And then, of course, we'll go into the origin story of both Kamikaze and Mistortion. So with you personally, tell us about yourself, Danny.
So I guess music has always been a big part of my life. So before I started, in the hard dance scene, so I actually liked metal. So I used to, go to like Slipknot concerts and stuff like that. I kind of like that. I'm not sure if you can call it metal, like new metal, rock sound. So that, and then I also like rap. I pretty much like anything that's good, essentially. But I started going to underground parties when I was like 15, and just fell in love with the music, I guess. I just really like the hard kick drum and the pace of the music, the energy, and the people. And so, yeah, I guess it's like been a part of my life since forever. So that's 1,000 years ago. So I've always wanted to DJ. My parents were a little bit like, let's be real here, no. So I started pretty late. So I probably started when I was like 18, 19. And then, I pretty much went straight into producing as I started DJing. So I've been producing for a fair while. So.
Yeah, cool. So do you have a musical background, like any piano or instruments at all?
I wish. I played the recorder when I was in year 2, I think.
As we do here in Australia, we have to.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I could play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and that's about it. I was like not very musically talented.
Not very hardcore worthy.
Yeah, I'm more just a nerd, I think. A computer nerd, so it's either one or the other, right?
Cool.
Producers.
Yeah, we're all a bit nerdy on the inside, hey?
Yeah.
So so you started, was it around 18, 19 you started producing? Is that when Kamikaze started, or?
No, so So I started trying to learn to DJ on Virtual DJ, and obviously that's not as good as the real thing. And then, so obviously Josie was a good friend of mine. I know she was already DJing, and, we thought we'd start something together. And so I kind of started DJing then, I guess, with her. So she was like helping me like learn and like take me on that journey. And I pretty much started producing there and then. I wasn't very good. I started on FL, trying to teach myself, a bit shady. Then I went to Logic. Didn't really like that either, and then finally found Ableton. So I guess I had a few attempts before I got into like the rhythm and actually stuck with something. But yeah,
that's pretty interesting. So you've dabbled with multiple DAWs and workstations and whatnot, so you can give people maybe a better opinion about like, this one's like the better one, I guess, or like, yeah. I mean, what does it come down to for you? Like, why do you think like Ableton was your go-to after trying so many?
I guess probably the main thing would be the support and I guess the people around you. So if everyone around you is using a particular platform, then you obviously lean towards that.
Sure.
So Josie and I were both using Ableton. I think she then moved to Cubase, but I was getting lessons from Splinter. So he was my music teacher, and so he used his Ableton. I think he deleted FL off my computer, so I wouldn't use that anymore. So
that's hilarious.
I think I was forced into liking it, but once you start to use it, it gets easier and easier. So
yeah. Totally. So Mistortion, tell us, when did that and how did Mistortion come about?
So Kamikaze is hardstyle, I guess, as you know. But I've always loved hardcore. It's probably my first love. It's I don't know, it's just who I am. Like I love the music, I love the scene, I love everything about it, and that's just not Kamikaze. I mean, Kamikaze is more fun. It's more,
mainstream maybe.
Mainstream. Like it's family friendly, a little bit more so. But I guess I always had that darker side, and Josie didn't really like hardcore. So I guess I had to do something. I had to channel it in a different way. And I thought of the name Mistortion. I thought it would already be taken. So I thought I'm not going to be a hardcore DJ if I can't have that name. Pretty much searched around. No one had used that name. I was like, because I love it. So so that's when it started.
Yeah, right. Which one are you more passionate about?
I think it's just a different mentality. It depends if I'm...
Depends on your mood maybe, or the day, yeah.
Seriously, like there's no rhyme or reason to which one I like.
Yeah.
I do, obviously I work on both sounds. Whenever I feel... there's no rhyme or reason. One night I'm like, we'll focus on hardcore, for a couple of weeks, and then I get over it, get creative block, and then I'll go back to hardstyle, and then vice versa. So... I think it helps.
Yeah, that's cool. More recently, I have heard your remix of Insane. That was really awesome. Insane remix.
Thanks, Insane. Yeah, no, Dexy, obviously, she was the first female on Gearbox. So that was her release, I don't know a few years ago now. But yeah, she's a good friend and she's an amazing artist. So I was really happy to be able to do that remix for her. So
yeah, right, cool. Yeah. And then with Kamikaze, I think, was it the Hooligan Hefs bootleg?
Oh, yeah.
Absolute banger. That's going so well on SoundCloud. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, pretty happy. It's like a pretty fun song. So but I have a few other tracks coming out soon as well, which is good, on a few American labels. So so watch this space. It should come out soon.
Cool. Can you tell us anything more about it, or? Yeah,
so I have a collab with Darksiders. I know I've done a few collabs with him. He's like an awesome guy. We work really well together. And Hypnotic as well. So she's actually a Korean DJ living in LA. And so there's got a few American label stuff. Then there's obviously some stuff with Gearbox HD coming out as well. And I guess I've just been producing heaps, and then finally now it's all ready to come out. And I also have a track coming out on Stephanie's label as well for the Black Roses EP. So
awesome, exciting stuff then. Hey?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm like, finally, I've just been slaving away on these tracks, and then finally I can actually show people. So I've actually been doing something.
Let's go talking back to your early days. So when you first started producing and DJing. Now, what was it like as a female trying to get sets or like DJing and whatnot? Was it? Tell me about it.
So, females, I do believe females do have to work harder in one sense, because no one shows them any respect. And on the other hand, if I guess it would be easier to get sets if you had big boobs and like a really good looking. But I think in terms of to get credibility, you have to work twice, 3 times as hard, because there's a lot of females who don't produce and say they do. There's a lot of females that, the whole ghost production thing is so huge, and I can see why females don't have credibility, because a lot of them don't produce their own stuff. But then the same hand, a lot of men don't produce their own stuff. So I think it's a little bit unfair to say that it's just females, but I guess it just made me work harder. So I wanted to be that female who actually, was producing their own stuff and was trying really hard and to do their own things. So I guess it was a good motivator for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that you saw it as a source of motivation.
Yeah, but in terms of whether people still would actually, understand or admit that I do produce my own stuff is another thing. I mean, I'm sure they're just like, oh yeah, sure, you get ghost produce. I'm like, whatever. But you can't please everyone.
As long as you're confident with yourself.
Exactly. That's all that matters. So I do it for me, not for anyone else.
Block out the rest. Don't listen to the haters.
I do it for me, so it's all good.
Cool. Now, let's move on to some questions from your fans. First one comes from BZ, and she wants to know, which artists do you look up to and which artists inspire you with music?
So I guess if you know me, I'm a massive fan of Angerfist. He is, like, for me, he's, the leader in hardcore, obviously. He's huge. He does everything. He's so clean, perfect. Everything he does is, he is hardcore, I guess. So him definitely. Ophidian is one of my favorites as well. He's, I don't know, the way he puts so much emotion into tracks, I've never heard anything like it. It's like, his hardcore is so emotional. It's unbelievable.
How do you feel about Nosferatu?
Yeah, no, also...
Did I pronounce that correctly? Is
yeah,
that how it is?
Nosferatu,
yeah. Cool. I love his, like, older stuff. You know what? Like, hardcore between maybe 2007 to like 2011.
Yeah.
I think like just the glory days. Hey, like even all those Dominator anthems and then yeah, absolute bangers.
Yeah, because music these days is so different, right? It's less like journey and emotional full. It's more like obviously like up tempo is very different to, let's say, classic hardcore. Old school hardcore is definitely has so much more feeling, so much more emotion. It's I'm not sure if I'm just saying that because I'm back in my day.
Nostalgia. Hey.
Yeah, but I think some of the music these days is very forgettable, I guess, more so than what it was. But.
Yeah, it's almost like it's got a very short lifespan, would you say? Like it's like the music these days, like maybe, it'll stay in people's interest for like a month. Whereas like we think of all those tracks and they're still with us and it's been like, 10 years now, give or take.
I'm not sure if it's because there's like so much more music around or whether it's the track quality. I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It could be saturation or...
Yeah, like there is a lot more music out these days. Like there's so much coming out and there's so many like places to get it. So I'm not sure if that has something to do with it, but yeah. Yeah,
very true. Very interesting. So Anger Fist was a big source of inspiration for you for Mistortion, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I just... The way, I guess, his quality, his brand, everything about it is just top notch. So definitely an inspiration.
Would you say he got you into hardcore? Which artists like brought Mistortion around? Were you like, hey, I need to do this?
Yeah, probably Anger Fist, The Player, Mad Dog. I know it's all quite mainstream, but
they're the kings. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I think. It's like they're popular for a reason because they're amazing. So yeah, and obviously the girls like Anime, Miss Kate. Love them, so yeah.
Cool. So continuing on then on the topic of hardcore, how do you feel about up-tempo and this new rise of 200 BPM and beyond?
Like I love fast music. 200 BPM plus is, I love it. I just think some of it is trash.
Yeah, fair.
It's just
too much. Hey, it sounds like a jackhammer or some drill going off.
Yeah, and just the production quality is so terrible. I mean, you have to admit, it's garbage. People just use the same kick, and it's just trash. I mean, the tracks have no meaning. No, just I don't even know. I don't know how.
2020. You gotta have at least 2 kicks, like
at least. Otherwise, it's boring.
Pretty much.
No, like I'm all down for ADHD music. It's like my life. But I just think it's just really just crap quality. People just churn and burn. That's my personal opinion.
That's fair. What about like are there any 200 BPM tracks that you enjoy, that you appreciate, or you just like no to 200?
No, I regularly play over 200.
Oh,
and
cool, yeah.
I've made a few tracks at 200 plus as well, but like in Vitral is amazing. Like he does it well. But then there's just a lot of other artists that just crap.
Fair,
but I'm sure they'd probably say the same thing about my music. But anyway.
That's it.
Like,
we'll never know.
I'm not going to name names.
Don't worry about them. Just block it out. Exactly. How do you feel about Frenchcore and Cypher?
It's fun. I think it's really fun. I've never seen more females in the front row at Massive than when Cypher played.
Oh, wow.
It was just all females, and they were like, I love you, Cypher. And so
I really enjoy his music, and it people give him a lot of I don't know, people hate on him because he's so melodic sometimes.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes me think back to the days, or those earlier days when, they had big leads or big melodies and stuff like that, whereas now it's kind of like more about these new kick changes and like a screech kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I think he's obviously really talented and he's popular for a reason. So that was actually the first release on Gearbox Overdrive. So it was him and Ruler, so Survivor Streets. So
yes, yeah, that track.
Yeah, so I was very excited to have that track on the label. But yeah, I think he's really good. Like I know people hate him, but he gives shit back on the line anyway. So you obviously the banter in the hardcore group. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, he did an intro or something like at the start of his set. He just gave it back to the crowd, and it was the funniest moment.
So good. So good.
On to the next question. So this next question comes from Damien. He would like to know, what is your favorite event? And I'm going to take that a little bit further and say, what is the favorite event that you've attended as a audience goer, and your favorite event that you've played at?
Okay. So my favorite event as a punter, hi Damien, thanks for the question, PS, is Dominator, definitely. It is so good. I had the best time ever. It was a couple of years ago, and it was just far beyond anything I've ever imagined. It was like the sheer size of it was crazy. It was so good. I would love to play there one day, like the dream. And then probably favorite event I've played at would be like quite a few. I know I played in Southeast Asia around for Smirnoff. So we had like a pop-up series and played in Bali and in Jakarta. And that was really, really cool. It was so different. Like Smirnoff did like such a good job at like putting up the event. It was so mad. So
Yeah, right. So how's the crowd there? Like, was it a different experience? Or are they just as energetic as anywhere else?
Yeah, they're super energetic. Play a little bit of a different set. Obviously, it's not as heavy. But I know, Kutski, Alex Kidd, they played at the event as well, and it was just a really fun time. So yeah, it was good.
Well, that leads us to the next question. This one comes from Jan. He would like to know, what do you think about the hard dance scene in Southeast Asia and more specifically Indonesia?
Oh, that's a good segue. They are so passionate. They're such amazing people. The scene there, they have like such a strong like connection to each other. It's just, I don't know, they're like a family. It's played in Sarawak, in Malaysia, and I don't know, they just go crazy. They love the music. They love I don't know, they just have so positive. It's so nice.
Passion, good sense of community.
Yeah, I love it. They're just everyone's so lovely there, and they just love the music so much, and they just want to support it, and it's just great.
Awesome, that's amazing.
Definitely one of my favorite places. Yeah.
Cool. So next question. This one comes from Jacob. And I know you touched on this a little bit earlier, but he would like to know what got you into music production. So, maybe did you hear a track and you're like, hey, I want to do that,
I feel like it's like the exact opposite. So I was frustrated with all the crap music out. And
you wanted to contribute.
I'm
going to put out
I was just
bangers.
I'm like, I can't find anything I like. I hate everything. It's just shit. So I'm like, well, I can't really complain if I'm not going to do anything myself. So that's why I started. And then I think just also seeing all the hate for females online, not doing anything, and just feeling like I needed to do something for the gender.
Cool.
Just, so I guess
motivation
both.
again. Yeah. Awesome. And Jacob would also like to know what got you into the hardstyle music scene.
I feel like I've been involved in like forever. Like before I started even DJing or anything, I was working at clubs. Like I was working at some of the underground clubs, like on the door, like promoting general stuff. I was going to underground parties when I was underage. So I guess
you're just always dedicated.
Yeah.
Hey?
So
cool. That's awesome. Next question. This one comes from Ben, and he would like to know, which do you enjoy playing or performing as the most? Kamikaze or Mistortion? Which of your two kids are you gonna pick?
My personality. It's hard to say. It depends on the day. Like it depends what kind of party as well. Mistortion. Well, Kamikaze is more like fun. Let's have fun. Everyone's like good times, and then Mistortion is more like stab you in the car park.
So there's no favorite at all. Like if you had to choose one for the rest of your life.
If I had to, it probably would be Mistortion.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I love depends on the day. I mean, today I say Mistortion, tomorrow it'll be Kamikaze. So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's funny. This next question comes from Kelvin, and he says, first off, your remix of Insane is huge. How long did it take for you to put that together, and did you reference any other tracks to come up with your remix?
So yes, it took forever. I have about, I don't know how many hundreds of tracks on the go at all times. I just have a problem finishing them. So even right now, I mean, there's at least 20 projects I'm working on, like actually currently working on.
Cool.
But just trying to finish them so hard. So it did take a long time in terms of I just left it for ages. It came back to it, hated it, came back to it, hated it. It usually goes like that. In terms of inspiration, so it's not usually my sound. So it's more of a trance sound. And I don't usually produce that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to do something different. Because I like the sort of darker, more industrial kind of hardcore as well. And I just wanted to give it a go. And I know Dexy's quite into hard techno, so it's kind of a tribute to her as well.
Awesome, cool. Next question. This one comes from Sammy. Thoughts on female producers in the scene?
I know I touched on it before, but I think females. Well, one, I think it's hard for them because of the negative attitudes and the negative stigma. But two, I also think that a lot of females don't try hard enough. I think that they need to give it a go, and not everyone can rely on just ghost producers. This goes for males as well. But it would be good to see more female producers. I mean, there's only a handful that I know of, and it would be good to get more, for women to get more involved, so the stigma doesn't exist. And
yeah, absolutely, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Going on, so he's got a second part to his question. Do you think that females have a bad reputation, and is it warranted?
Yes and yes. I say that I don't want to sound negative, but I think that there is a lot more work that they can do. But then at the same time, I just don't think there's enough credit given to those who actually do. So it goes both ways. I hate it how sometimes it's a popularity contest or it's like a looks thing. It's because it shouldn't really be about that. It should be about the music and but I mean, I guess it's the way it is. But the more females who produce, the more females that will probably feel more comfortable to produce. So fingers crossed it starts to happen more and more. I think it is. So.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. Final question. This one comes from Trent, and he wants to know, have you ever considered making another genre? So apart from, I guess, the two that you obviously do.
Yes, well...
Something wacky like trap, slow tempo, like...
Well, so it was a couple of years ago, I actually had like some really, really bad creative block. I hated everything I was doing. So I actually started making like cinematic dark step.
Oh wow!
Like really random
like orchestral, yeah.
Yeah, orchestral,
awesome.
really slow. It is on. Actually, I think I've started a SoundCloud. But yeah, so it's called Dystopic.
Cool.
And
it's all ready to go. You got music up there and stuff.
Yeah, everyone will probably hate it, but it's just was actually just like allowed me to reset, I guess,
cool.
And start producing other stuff. But yeah. I might definitely produce trap and everything. It's gangster.
Why not? Yeah, cool. Now, we're going to do something different. Let's do some quick questions. So I'm just going to spit out random questions at you. It's going to be one of two options, and you're just going to have to choose. Okay. And, this is going to be like for the rest of your life kind of scenarios, you know what I mean? So if you got to pick of the two, that's it for the rest of your life.
Okay.
So first one, Adidas or Nike?
Nike.
Okay. I thought you were more of an Adidas. That's funny.
No, it's like I like Adidas tracksuits, but Nike, yeah, for shoes.
Okay, fair enough. Next one, Anger Fist or Sub-Zero Project?
Anger Fist.
Fair enough. Wearing a beanie forever on stage or a horse head forever on stage?
Horse head, because then I would always get good photos.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yes.
Hey. Hack or a Muzz for the rest of your life?
Hack, for sure.
Had to choose between FL or Logic Pro?
Oh no. FL. Yeah. Logic? I hate Logic.
Let's talk about that. Why?
I'm sorry. It's just so much easier.
Yeah, the workflow? Like you just find it a lot easier?
I just don't like the Logic workflow. It's just, the buses is really just annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. If you had to choose between having black hair or red hair dyed for the rest of your life?
I'd say I would look pretty average with both, but I don't know. I know redheads have like a known for being
what
crazy.
What do you like? You're like really
maybe
thinking
red.
about this.
Yeah, this is a hard one. Okay, I'll go red.
Red,
yeah.
cool. Live stream sets for the rest of your career or silent discos?
Oh no. Silent discos. At least I can see people. So, yeah.
So you'd rather have the crowd there and whatnot with you at the very least.
Because you can see if they hate it or not. So I mean, if everyone's like heaps devastated, you're like, well, probably should switch it up.
Might just be my very poor opinion, but I don't like silent discos because I think the music needs to be loud, but not that live streams is a very good loud alternative. So that's a bad question on my part. But yeah,
it's hard.
I just
is death
especially
an option?
for hard dance, you know what I mean. Our music sounds great on big speakers.
I know. The only thing is you can see people dance to it, I guess.
That's true. You can feed off that energy whether they like it or not.
Are people dancing in their lounge rooms live stream? I don't know. You always need a camera on them to be like,
That's true. That's very true. Now, if you had to mix deep house for the rest of your life or trap, which would it be?
I really hate deep house.
Really?
I'm sorry. It sounds like elevator music to me, or bathroom music. I don't know. So
just too relaxing, too chill.
It's so boring. It doesn't go anywhere.
Fair.
And I feel like I'm so gangster. So trap.
Fair enough. That's
I'm not.
Cool. And final quick question: TNs or Air Max?
That's so hard. I'll say TNs because there's been like some good color ranges coming out recently. And yeah, they're also very supportive. They have like the high arch and they're very like stable.
More comfort and whatnot.
Yeah, so you're like less likely to roll your ankle.
Cool. So the end of the quick questions. Now, I would like to know, what can we expect in terms of your releases? You've been busy in the studio recently, or?
Yeah, it's struck horror. I've been doing something. No, I've been working on heaps of music. It's been a little while since, I guess, my last release, but I have quite a few banked up, which is good. And so, yeah, you should, over the next couple of months, I've released on a few releases on American labels. I released with Stephanie and Stephanie's label, some Gearbox HD stuff as well for Kamikaze. And then for hardcore as well, I have a few new things coming out on Overdrive. So they should be out soon.
Any plans for like an album or?
No, I feel like an album, people just get over it. I mean, people just they just churn through the tracks and then it's done and forgotten. I kind of feel like every release needs to be something, and especially because all my music's so different. I have no consistency. I just create random shit and then and there's a song. And so I feel like to have an album would be a little bit weird because there's no real flow, I guess. I just kind of create whatever I feel on the day or on the time. So yeah, I think I have quite a few releases though coming out soon, which is good. Finally, thank God.
No, that's cool. I agree. See, it's like, yeah, I guess back to our earlier discussion with just how people are taking music these days. Hey, like an album is just a lot of tracks will get left unheard. Exactly,
and just forgotten. Everything just gets forgotten because it's like, here's 10 tracks, everyone listens to it, and then they move on. Whereas it's like those 10 tracks could be more of a story throughout the year, let's say. But yeah, like, I mean, if you have unlimited tracks, then an album's a good idea. But I do take a while to produce and to finish things. I mean, I have a few tracks that I've finished, but I know that I'll go back to and work on for another couple months anyway.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
How about you? Is any albums coming out for you? Any tracks?
This isn't about me.
It's always about you.
No. I mean, like, I'm just plodding along. I do have a little something coming on Gearbox, which I am keen for, but I think maybe we'll leave it at that, just to be safe.
I think I heard a sneak peek the other day. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit cheesy, but it's always
awesome.
got my I don't know, tasteful wackiness. I guess that's the only way I can really put it.
It sounded really good. One of your best.
Oh, thank you. Cool. Now, I also, so with your releases, was that for Mistortion or Kamikaze? Sorry.
For both. So for Mistortion, will be mainly on Overdrive, Gearbox Overdrive. So that was that. And then for Kamikaze, so yeah, I've got a release on Stephanie's label. I've got a collab with DJ Hypnotic, a Korean DJ living in LA, and then Darksiders as well, and then another original or two on Gearbox HD. So quite a few Kamikaze tracks actually coming out soon.
Cool.
And heaps of shitty bootlegs, I'm sure.
Oh, but the bootlegs are what, like,
I know, so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're good crowd pleasers. The crowd looks forward to them as well when we put our own maybe take on like mainstream tracks or just tracks that they wouldn't expect a random drop to. Hey,
I know. I'm like, I love it. I'm like, stop making crap bootlegs, but it's just so much fun. And yeah, I just love that party feel. So I guess it's just trying to recreate in like my own original tracks as well as like the hard thing. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Do you have any advice for new up and coming female producers in the scene these days?
So you can't please everyone, so you may as well just do what you want to do. Don't try to be someone you're not. Don't try to please everyone, because it will honestly never happen. And people will hate and say shit because they can, not because they should, just because who knows why. So just do it for yourself, do what you love, and just, fuck the haters. Honestly though, I think it's really important to not try to be someone you're not.
Cool.
Because it will never work out.
That's really good general advice as well.
Yeah, well, yes, life advice. Because like you said, you get so tired of trying to just please everyone, and people will still not like the things you're doing anyway. So do it for you.
That's it. Yeah. Otherwise, I guess you'd burn yourself out. Hey, and then you just end up being miserable about it.
Exactly. It's supposed to be a passion. It's supposed to be like, it's like you love doing music. So why would you want to make music you don't love?
Very true. Advice for up and comers, people that are new to Ableton, what would you recommend for them? Like, starting out, production can be so overwhelming. Do you feel that maybe people should jump into straight into their own original track, or do you think maybe like an edit or a bootleg might be an appropriate way to go?
Yeah, definitely just an edit of a track would be the way to start, because then at least you can get familiar with the track structure and understand like music a little bit more, just how things work, how things flow, or even making a mix. It's like really interesting to see how, you know, tracks go with each other and, you know, the different formats and whatnot. So you definitely don't start with an original. And it took me a long time to even maneuver around the platform. So, and I started making a few mixes, and that's how I actually got quite comfortable with it, was literally doing mixes in Ableton, mixes or mashups or edits or anything like that. Yeah, I think it's quite overwhelming to start, you know, on an original.
That's really good advice. Now, did you start on production first, right? Or was it DJing?
It started on Virtual DJ and Mixmeister. So yeah, I guess it's kind of editing music, I guess. So I was pretty much DJing, but then I went pretty soon into production.
Do you feel people, like, if they haven't touched either of them, should they try DJing first or maybe production first?
I guess it depends what kind of person you are. I used to think I was more of a performer, but now I think I'm more of a producer. So I think, you know, I always like computers, like I work in technology as well. So like I guess it's maybe computers were easier for me to learn. But if you're not really a tech person, then maybe DJing is, you know, more performing. Maybe that's more for you. So I guess it just depends. I guess it depends what you have access to too. If you don't have a computer, then obviously it's hard to produce. If you don't have decks, it's hard to DJ. So I guess whatever you have access to.
Yeah, that's true as well. Now, so a bit about you. So tell us, what do you do in your downtime? What's the real Kamikaze up to?
So I do music every day. I don't have a TV because it's so boring. And I always...
Are you on Netflix or...
No, I actually don't watch anything.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
I'm like always have to be doing something, always, all the time. So I'm either like out doing random things or attempting to learn how to rock climb or like playing table tennis
That's cool. So you're like, fairly active and
try to be,
prefer to be outside and whatnot, hey?
Yeah, outside or I'm just doing music. So I have like a music studio at home, which is good. Have a whole room sounded up, everything, which is good. And yeah, just do music a lot and things like that. I enjoy it. So I feel like sitting in front of a TV or something is just like, a waste of time. Yeah, and I just can't concentrate for that long. I'm just like, boring.
Oh, it's good that you're productive like that. And you, it sounds like you make the most out of your day.
Yeah, get pretty involved.
Cool. Awesome. Well, wrapping up the show. Now, would you like to give a shout out to anyone or tell us, like, can you give us a hint as to something that's coming up at the end of this year? Is there anything we can look forward to from you?
So I guess it's hard with COVID, but I just want to give a shout out to the Gearbox guys. Obviously, their label is amazing, and obviously being involved in them and just get to see, you know, all the mechanics and how it works, and it's so impressive how it's become, you know, it was so small and it's become so huge. So I just want to say how much I admire that, and you know, it's really inspirational, and to now be like running Overdrive as well. It's just so crazy. So thanks to all the artists who are part of it, as well as I guess the artists in the scene here. So everyone that's still in Australia driving the Australian scene is, you know, are the ones making it bigger here, and that's why hardstyle is so big here. I feel like it's almost a second to the Netherlands. And yeah, I think it's really important that the talent doesn't all just leave. The talent stays here and actually supports the scene, because that's where, you know, it'll continue to grow.
Yeah, right. So quickly touching on Overdrive, so that's your label that you're running at the moment?
Yeah, so it's the hardcore sub-label of Gearbox.
Awesome.
So Gearbox has, I think, 6 sub-labels, HD, Digital, Euphoria, Revolutions, and I can't remember. And then Overdrive. So it's been active for about 2 years. And yeah.
Do you have any advice for any people starting up labels recently?
Oh, I'm like... Don't do it. No jokes. It's a lot of work.
Stressful or?
Yeah, it's just like a lot of work. I feel like at the moment there's actually too many labels. It's hard. I mean, I think there's an opportunity for people to work more with labels rather than work against them, and it shouldn't be such a hierarchical thing. We should more like how can I get involved in the label rather than starting your own, because then you're just diluting the market even more. So, and then it gets hard with exclusivity and whatnot. So I'd say work with a label, not start your own label. That'd be my advice.
Yeah, fair. Cool. Would you like to finish off the show at all in any other way?
I just want to thank you for everyone who sent in questions. Really appreciate it and really appreciate the support. And thank you to Dom for doing such a good job with this. It's so good to have someone supporting the scene and actually getting to know the artists like this. It's like, yeah, it's really appreciated.
Oh,
so.
Cheers, I try. Yeah, it's the point of the show, hey.
So yeah, thank you so much. And sorry I was ranting.
No, it's all cool. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.